cry, little sister.
Thou shalt not fall.
Hello and welcome back to the Yes to Your podcast. My name is James, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host Beth. How are you today, Beth?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing things.
Stuff and things?
Stuff and things.
Anything interesting happened this week? Is there anything fun coming up that you'd like to talk about?
I stepped on a beetle.
Oh my gosh.
The other day.
Paul?
Paul the beetle. If you know Paul personally, reach out to his family and friends. I feel really bad about it. But also, don't cross my path. I will step on you.
I meant like the Beatles.
Oh, no.
Paul.
Is that one of the Beatles?
Yeah.
Really?
It's Paul McCartney.
Oh,
It's one of the...
I've not stepped on him. That'd be really interesting, though.
Oh, wow.
Why is he here?
You came up? Oh, I asked you, Paul. I was going to be like, wow,
No.
wow, that was really impressive. But no, it's unimpressive. Nothing else?
I'm going back to the river tomorrow.
Oh, you're going to be a river girl
I'll be a
tomorrow?
river girl once again.
Are you going to put your hair in like
No.
pigtail things and be like, hey, man,
No.
put some straw in your mouth?
No.
You going to take a knife with you?
Do you have a knife to give me?
Yes.
Do you really?
No.
Oh. What is this? False promises.
False advertisement. You know how I do.
Yes.
All right, well, cool. Well, today we have a really good one for you guys. We're going to be reviewing The Lost Boys. And no, not Peter Pan's Lost Boys. This is one of those movies that, in my opinion, set the stage for the vampire genre. Anyone who was around, the age, I'd say, teenager to early 20s, that could see this movie, definitely set their definition of what it would be like to be a vampire off of this movie. Like, I think it really made it, a definition of what it should be.
I can see that.
Once again, it took a movie that took the old rules of vampirism and reinvented them for the 1980s. It did it for vampires then, what like Twilight did for vampires now. I would assume anybody being born, growing up watching Twilight, like you,
Okay.
or something like that, like the vampires that you're really exposed to would be Twilight. So you would think, okay, sparkly Twilight, they're
not
bright,
necessarily.
this, that, and the other. Okay.
When I think, because everybody knows that's a cheesy movie, and vampires don't inspire. When I think of vampires, I think of the Halloween. When people talk about vampires, when they in school and stuff, when they were talking about that.
Okay.
You think garlic and the holy water, and there's just a basics. Twilight was kind of just like a romanticized version of that, obviously. So it was kind of just like, oh wow, pretty boys and sparkled. But that's not necessarily how I see that.
Okay.
I don't know if that's for everybody, but
it's
6-year-old me didn't see it like that.
I'm just saying, it just seems like you have old school Dracula.
Yes.
And then 70s you had kind of a newer you had like Blackula, which was a movie.
Well, a better example that I would see that in then would be Vampire Diaries.
Okay.
I would use that more because that didn't follow along with sparkly vampires. That was still, it was kind of like this, but it was more. They were still attractive and not horrible monsters when they became vampires. It was just the fangs and then blood.
Okay.
That's what I would use that instead.
Okay, I'll get you. That's good.
Because in this movie, and Dracula, they become like the horrible beast-looking creatures, and they're gross and they're ugly. So nowadays, it's not like that.
Yeah, those vampires in Lost Boys definitely don't sparkle.
No, they do not.
Or break like stone. They're mushy. Obviously, this is one of my favorite movies from the 80s, and is still my go-to vampire movie as far as I'm concerned. Pretty sure that half of America, maybe more, wanted to be a vampire after seeing this movie, and would have preferred that David and crew in the end won instead of being killed off. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Saying that, kind of like oh man, being a vampire is awesome. Why would you want to kill these guys off? So
yeah,
Michael.
They said his name a lot.
That was actually one of I didn't actually put it in there. It was one of the trivia things. They said his name got said over 300 and something times.
Yeah,
in this
they
movie.
said it a ton. He was the name that stuck in. You know how I talked about having to know if you know a character's name by the end of the movie, it's a good movie.
Yeah,
in a sense like that.
You know Michael.
I know Michael, but not. I mean, this doesn't have to be a good movie or a bad movie for that to have known. They said his name so many times. You know who Michael is.
Like, oh, we get it. He's there.
To go off that though, with what I said last episode, I kind of think do you, when you watch these, do you pay attention to that now? Because I've been doing that. Like because when we talk about new things, I always, in my notes, I try to recall when exactly things happen. So with names, like when names first get said, I'm looking for that as well.
Gotcha.
And then trying to remember, because they don't, a lot of times in the movies, they really don't say it like off the bat. It's a couple, like 20 minutes in the movie.
Right. Well, I know like the mom's name, like they refer to her as mom and everything like that, but I don't think her name gets said until she's in the movie store talking to Max. Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. I do pay attention to that kind of stuff. Because there's one vampire that he doesn't get.
No. And I don't really know I don't think I know any of the boys' names other than David.
I know their names, and the one that I knew for sure, the other name was Marco, because they talk about, you killed Marco. And again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So those two, I knew. The other two, I did have to look up because they just don't get said.
Yeah.
So.
That and the little kid, but that's linear.
His name does get said. Yeah.
It gets said.
Laddie.
See, but still, they say like 3 times, so it's hard to remember. Well.
Yeah. So, Lost Boys was released July 31st in 1987. Was directed by Joel Schumacher. Yes, that Joel Schumacher. You know who Joel Schumacher is?
They make other movies?
He's done a lot of other movies. One of the things that he's known for, at least in my opinion, is ruining out the Batman series. He directed the Batman, 2 of the last Batman movies that were before all the Batman Batman Begins and everything like that. And I just did not like how he did
I haven't seen any Batman movies.
So,
DC heroes do not impress me. DC villains. I do like DC villains.
Okay. The movie absolutely smashed its $8.5 billion production budget, grossing over $32 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it crushed it. The cast was ripe with young 80s talent such as Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, Jason Patric, Kiefer Sutherland, Jamie Gertz, and Alex Winter, who would go on to play Bill in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which we will, in fact, review. So, at least the first one, at least that Excellent Adventure.
Did we talk about that one last episode?
The movie, we have. Yeah. Diana Wiest rounded out playing the mother, Lucy, of the 2 boys, and Edward Herman also played Max, who was her love interest in the movie. And of course, you should know him as from Overboard.
Yes, that's true. He did look really familiar, and I couldn't put it on. I love that movie, though. I
absolutely love that movie. So, yes, he's a god at sea. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Sorry. Tofuti. While it wasn't immediate, the success of the film did spawn 2 sequels, as well as a couple comic book series and potential television series as well. 2
sequels, really?
Yeah, but they weren't immediate. They came out like in the 2000s.
Are they any good?
No. We watched one of them. We didn't bother with the other. But it seemed like they were really trying to just, it just wasn't what it should
was it the same cast?
Corey Feldman was in it.
Is that Michael?
No, that's Frog, one of the Frog brothers.
Oh, Edgar.
Yeah, Edgar Frog. But yeah, definitely not.
All right.
It just, by time, it had lost its ability to be a really serious sequel at that point in time. Again, what I talk about when people are trying to recapture some nostalgia or something like that of a movie that they had, they didn't need to be made. They could have made them and called them something else.
Yeah.
So, interesting enough, and this is more trivia stuff that I didn't really go into. Joel Schumacher wanted to do a sequel called Lost Girls, where David actually didn't die, because you see how he didn't really explode or melt or anything like that.
Right.
And he wasn't killed with a stake. So they were going to say that he didn't actually die and that he started like Lost Girls. But that wouldn't have really worked with this story because once you kill the head vampire, of course, all the other vampires go back to normal, and he went back to all clean and everything like that. So
he would have bled out. Anyways.
He would have just been a normal person.
Yeah.
So it never happened, thank God. But it was ideas. So even though these are not the Lost Boys of Peter Pan fame, obviously, the title is a play on the fact that as a vampire, the boys will never grow up. You know, like in the story Peter Pan. I don't know how familiar you are with Peter Pan.
Not very.
But he had his Lost Boys, where the kids that he would take over to Never Neverland, and of course, they just remained little boys. They never grew up. Wendy would go and read to them, hang out with them. They'd play and fight pirates and everything like that, but they didn't grow up. So that's kind of where this comes from.
Would you have liked that life?
Oh, would I have liked to have been a Lost Boy?
No, well, I mean, yeah, Peter Pan, Lost Boy.
I guess. I don't know. I think eventually I would have been kicked out. Because I'd have been like, all right, this is a little ridiculous. We need to move on and do some stuff here. You know, this is a little redundant. And people probably be like, you gotta go. You go grow up, old man. And then I'd come back and instantly age to where I should have been and been all old and crickety.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens, but I'm just saying.
Maybe. You never know.
The movie is billed as a teen horror comedy. And I think that fits with the story, with the way that it goes and everything like that. So... a teen horror comedy. It's the first time that I've seen that.
It's rated R.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of confused about.
I think it's the violence.
Yeah.
Because they show...
there was no nudity.
Oh, you upset about that there?
Well, not what I'm saying. Is when I looked it up, you know, the movie in the general, to look at the trailer and everything.
Yeah.
I saw that it was rated R, and I was like, oh, great. Naked women. Fantastic. But then there was none.
I don't think there's any nudities, and I don't think there's any F-bombs. I know that there's cussing, but I don't recall either of those things in this movie.
I don't even remember the cussing.
Sam.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Man, it's fucking vampire.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's about it. Other than that, I think it's the gore. I think it's when they're, you know, when they're attacking those guys. So, so it begins, and once again, I'm treated to a movie that jumps right into the action. Maybe that's why I'm so drawn to 80s movies, because they don't seem to dawdle.
So, are we skipping the trailer?
Oh my gosh. My notes completely got janked up. I'm so sorry. So, yes.
I even said that I even mentioned it just in case. I said, well, I was looking up for the trailer.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
So how was the preview artwork, and were you excited about it and everything like that? How was the trailer?
No, I keep forgetting to look up preview artwork. So preview artwork, do you mean like the DVD case thing? What's on the case?
Yeah, like a lot of times the poster of it is the DVD cover, but yeah, like does it, you know how...
Well, all right.
You not to cut you off, but you know, we used to go to Blockbuster Video, of course, a place to go and rent movies. That was like the Friday and Saturday thing to do. You would go to the movie rental place and rent movies. A lot of the way
like us, as in like...
Well, we did too.
I don't remember that.
No, you don't. You were just a little baby. But what caught your eye was the artwork of the box.
Yeah.
You know, we like not necessarily just the name, because I mean like waxwork. Ooh. You know, but on the cover, it was all creepy and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, oh man, look at this. This looks awesome. Then you flip on the back to read the back like a book. So that kind of stuff is how that used to be. So that's when I say the cover art. When you look at the cover of what would have been like the cover of the DVD, or when you look at what would have been hanging at the movie, you know, when the movies and they've got the posters up.
On. Okay, that's
so fair. That's what I'm always asking you. So I'm sorry that I didn't.
No, you're good. That's fine. Well, if I were to base my judgment off of this, I would have picked this movie up based off the DVD. It does look interesting. It piques the interest because, I mean, just the way it looks, like the red and the black, the contrast, amazing. Like that's how I do books as well when I'm looking for new books. I look at the cover art, and if it looks good enough, I grab it. I like fancy lettering. But
mine is if it has like a dog on the front. I always recommend it to your mom. I'm like, hey, look, there's a dog on the front. It's got to be good. It's got a dog, or it's got a cat. It's got to be good. And she's all, put that back down and stop playing with the books. They're just putting... I get yelled at.
They're gonna make another joke towards Stick Dog.
Ugh.
With the stick and its dog.
I heard the stick and the dog.
That's a good book. That book changed my life.
I appreciate the setup. Yeah.
I remember I finished that in school, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna come home and tell my dad." And you didn't care. You didn't even know what the book was.
I was very busy.
You're always busy. Anyways, the trailer of this movie, it looked interesting enough that if I was a kid during this time and somebody asked me to go see it, I would go see it. But the trailer itself, it wasn't like, "Oh, we gotta go see this movie like as soon as possible. We gotta go." So I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Okay. All right. I mean, that's fair. It still piqued your interest, but it didn't put you. I gotta go see.
If my friends were like, "Oh, we're bored on a Friday.
Yeah.
This movie just came out. Why don't we go see this?" Because I do like horror movies, and I would have been like, "All right," and then I would have saw the poster, and I probably would have gone and seen it.
Yeah.
So
I think with it, with the trailer, it kind of introduces you into it. I mean, it's going to be vampires. Obviously, that's the whole point of it. So
yeah.
But it doesn't give away the ending or too much. I don't recall any scenes in the trailer that were like, "Oh, well, that's obviously how it's going to end."
I hate when they do that.
Yeah, and I've seen that. I've seen that multiple times. To where you're like, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll go see it to see how we get to the trailer." Because there you go.
Yeah, but we can also go in how I said the how when I watch trailer for movies and I actually go to see the movie, I don't really remember the trailer.
No.
So a lot of people really don't. I mean, there's some people who have the trailer in mind or watch the trailer right before they actually see the movie in theaters, but I'm not one of those people. The only reason, sometimes I notice now, because I do watch the trailer as, right before I watch the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So when that scene happens in the actual movie, like when they're hanging off the railroad
Yeah.
that was in the trailer. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just something to think about, I suppose.
Cool. So as I had rudely said, because I skipped over your part, again, sorry about that, everybody. My notes were out of order. I do love how this movie just jumps right into it, as I just jumped right into the review. I do think that's why I like 80s movies so much, because they don't seem to dawdle. They are right in there.
You could argue on this movie about that, though. Because they do jump into the movie, and it pans over the water, and it's playing the music, and then, it starts off at the festival, and the guy's walking around. It gets in the movie, and then, but after that initial scene, it does another intro. But this time you're on the boys and their mom.
But you're into it already.
Yeah, but then it shows you another 5-minute intro, the carnival and different people and the missing posters, and it's just long. So you could say that does get into the movie in the beginning, but there's a second intro. It's like, boom, surprise, long intro.
You thought it was in.
Yeah, you thought it was done.
In a world where the intro goes on forever. But as you were saying, we do scanning over some water, and we pan to what looks like a fair on a pier. We meet up with a group of rocker kids, and for the time, that's pretty much how you would have seen them. Teens, long hair, mullets, everything like that.
Were you a kid like that?
No, I wanted to be my father. Absolutely not. You're going to wear these kind of clothes. No, he wasn't really like that.
Would you have spiked your hair in the middle?
I did have a bit of a spike hair for a while.
But I mean the shaved off the head and then the spike to the top.
Oh.
Like on the sides it's shaved and then in the middle?
Nah.
And then they call it a reverse. No, not reverse.
I'm not down for that.
No?
Nah. No. So these teen guys... These teen guys make kind of like a pass at a woman on a carousel who is obviously with this other dude.
Oh, she was kind of into it.
She did seem kind of into it, I think, but he was like, "Gotta get out of here."
Yeah.
And a cop puts the leader of the group into a headlock with his baton and reminds them he told them to stay off the boardwalk. So the leader with blonde hair is like, "Okay, boys, let's go." And then later that night, after closing, we hear kind of bat noises and laughing, and we see an overhead view of the cop. And he starts to scream and run to his car, but it's too late, and he gets attacked, and he's actually ripped off his door trying to escape, which I thought, geez.
Yeah. But I like that they did it, the camera angle in this, I like that, because it shows it's, flying, and it's like a bird, except that we know it's a bat. So if, say you went into this movie completely blind to what it was, this is kind of hinting, this is your first hint, vampires.
Sure.
So.
Yep.
I did like that.
Yep. And then we cut to the family that's arriving new into a town.
Yep.
And I think that what you're talking about being credits and everything like that, long credits, it's kind of giving a feel of what it's like in where they're moving to. The Santa Carla is like a little carnival town. Like that's what's there. But
that's
there's
fine.
A lot of poverty and stuff
it's just
too.
Really long.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm all good for showing what it is, but it starts off showing the, like the town and cars driving, you have different kids and people, and then it shows the different festival rides, and then it goes back to more people, and then it goes to a missing board sign, so you see missing people, and it goes back to more people, back to more rides, and then back to the missing board sign, and then back to the car driving, and then you go into the car and you see the family of 3 and a dog.
Yeah.
Jeez. And then after that, it shows more of the town.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a lot.
Well, it was a long drive.
I mean...
The boys are kind of complaining, but the mother is saying it's going to be great. They look to stop on the same boardwalk from the past scene. I think that's where they're at. It's like the same exact spot.
It looked like they were like, oh, well, let's just stop for a moment before going to the house. And then they were just running around.
Right there.
Different things. And the mom was like, hey, Sam, go tell those kids to get some real food because they were eating out the trash can.
They were like garbage kids, man. They were like dirty, too. It was really bad. Yeah, I actually put that in. The mom gives the son a donation to go give to the poor kids.
Oh, she gives them money?
I don't know if she gives him food. I just said donation because I couldn't tell exactly if she gave him money or food.
I didn't even know that she gave him anything.
Oh, yeah, she
did. Okay, because I thought she just like go tell those kids to stop eating out of the trash and get some real food, like a jerk.
No, because then he goes over to them and then points back at the mom, and they're all like, "Oh, okay, thank you."
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that's fine then.
Yeah, we also see the older boy pull his motorcycle down off the back of the trailer to ride the rest of the way in, which I thought was pretty cool.
I missed that.
Obviously, helmet laws didn't exist at this time. No, because no helmet. So the family arrives at the mother's father's house, and the dad is playing dead, which I thought was...
That seemed like something you would do.
Yeah.
Possum.
Yeah, it seems like... I'm like, oh yeah, if I was an old man and my daughter was coming with her kids, that's what I would do too. I'd lay there and look dead. He's like, I was doing a good job too. The house is like a museum of stuffed animals.
It had a lot of personality. I really liked the house.
Yep.
You know, I'm always talking about backgrounds and the actual like set of the things.
Yeah.
And I really like this set because it really did go back on the grandpa's personality.
I agree. So, very eccentric.
Very eccentric.
Sam and Mike start to unload into the house, and we find that they are flat broke. Mike says they're flat broke. And they have to come to live with her father, basically, because they have nowhere else to go. The dad even gives the mom a little bit of heck about being the only person who does worse by getting a divorce. Right.
But by this, we can also tell that the brothers are very close.
Right.
So.
Yep. And close with the mom, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're close-knit, and I like that. While running through the house, they find a room where taxidermy is performed and make some snide remark about that.
Is that what it is? Taxidermy?
Yeah, when you stuff real live animals and stuff like that, it's called taxidermy.
I thought it was about taxes.
It's not.
Why would you name it taxidermy if it's not about taxes?
I don't know. Why do they call rhinoplasty when you get your nose job and stuff like that?
Because rhinos have their nose on them. Okay. That one makes sense. Right. That was a bad comparison.
You're a bad comparison.
Oh, okay. Well.
So they find out that they have moved to what is called the murder capital of the world, which Santa Carla, I think is the name of it. Sam, the younger brother, looks as though he would prefer to move back to Phoenix.
Yeah, because he's complaining about having no TV, and then the grandpa's like, "Oh, well, you don't need a TV if you read the TV guide. Don't need the TV."
Right. Yeah.
Bruh.
Their grandpa lays down some rules for the house and advises he has no TV.
I would not have liked it here.
Yeah, nice. No, I'd have been like, I'm out.
You would have hated it.
Yeah. I'd have been sad.
You're gonna have to read.
I'd have cried the whole time. Read?
Yeah. What else are you gonna do?
Play with his little taxidermy dolls, I guess.
You would do that. I just open the door and you got your hand inside of them.
That's what I would be doing because
that's so sad.
I'd be damned. I'm going to read.
I'm gonna join you though.
Thank you.
Let me be the raccoon.
You can be the raccoon. The raccoon and its name is Squirrel.
No, his name's not Squirrel.
Yes, it is.
His name's Jimothy.
Everything can be Jimothy.
Everything's Jimothy.
All right, so we then return to the boardwalk where Michael and Sam are watching a type of concert go on. The dude up there just like blasting on the saxophone.
Scenes like this always make me laugh internally because after watching Dirty Dancing for the first time,
yeah,
Mom told me that there's no music going on in movies when they play movies like that, and it changed my life. So every time I see movies where like music's supposed to be playing and everyone's like screaming and like dancing in crowd like this, it always makes me laugh because I'm like, I know that it's all silent except for the people who are just screaming and like yelling and be like, "Whoa!" It's just silent.
If you ever watch 10 Things I Hate About You, you've seen it, but yeah,
I've seen that a couple times.
I was gonna say. When they're playing the at the end credits, they're going through some of the blooper scenes and stuff like that, and there's one scene where it's when they're in the house party and the girls sitting there dancing and jamming and stuff like that. There's no music going on, of course. So
it's so funny.
It would be really weird that you would just have to have like an internal song playing that you're dancing to. Because
I mean, I could do it.
I couldn't. I'd just be all choo 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 choo. I look like Elaine from Seinfeld dancing like a freak and no rhythm at all. So
that's fair. But yeah, I do like scenes like this. They always make me laugh like that.
That's funny. Michael sees an attractive girl kind of making eyes at him. The girl takes off and Michael pursues her. While that's going on, the mom is looking around on the boardwalk and finds a lost little boy and helps him find his mother. We find out that this lady, Sam and Michael's mom's name is Lucy, and she meets with Max, who runs a video store, which I thought was cool. And he offers her a job, and she takes it. We also meet his dog, Thorn, which is a really pretty dog. So is Nanook, their dog. Michael and Sam are in hot pursuit of the girl, and Michael's like, "Don't you have something better to do?" So Sam breaks off. He's like, "Yeah," and he goes into a comic store. He's being heavily watched by these two other kids that apparently work there. And Sam gives them heck about how they have their Superman comic books laid out.
Yeah, just nerds being nerds.
Yeah, which I like, though. I like that he's like, "You can't have this. This is this. And this is this." And they're like, "Oh, okay. You're cool. So here's a book about vampires." And he's like, "Yeah, no thanks. I don't read this." The girl that Michael was chasing gets onto a motorcycle with the leader of the crew from the night before.
I call them the Riff Raff Boys.
The Riff Raff Boys. I like that.
Yeah. I always thought it's interesting when we watch movies like this where there's vampires involved. The main, like, the lead, so like Michael in this case, and then the love interest, Star, are always so much like, or more attractive than all the other ones. Like, the whole gang, they were kind of ugly.
Oh.
No, I mean in Fright Night, like what's his name was freaky looking and gross. But the
Evil Ed,
Evil Ed was freaky. And it was weird. But he became a vampire. But the other two were fine. They were normal looking. In
I got you.
So it always kind of weirds me out why they do that.
I don't know. It's perfect people on the screen. I don't fall into that category.
Perfect people? I don't know. They looked weird.
If I was in a movie, I'd be a kid falling into a chocolate river because I was trying to eat it too much, getting sucked up a pipe. And
you know what? That movie depresses me because I'm not going to lie. If you brought me into a room and said that everything's made out of candy, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat your room. I'm going to try the grass. I don't care if you stepped on it. I'm eating it. Truly. Like Candy Kingdom and Adventure Time, you will not have any candy citizens. They will all be gone.
Right. What happened to John?
Unless they're made of peanut butter. He's like, you have your stomach and he's like poking out like, help me. Anyways.
Like lemon grab?
Like lemon grab. Well, you remember that one episode with the deer and he takes off his hands, he's like licking them, sticks them? Yeah.
Anyway.
That was a traumatizing.
So the gang kind of laughs at him and then drive off because she was like, she was going to go with him and then she's like, no, this isn't that point yet. They just drive off on the road.
She keeps looking back at him.
Yeah.
They're making eye contact.
Yeah, she's still Google face. So
Google.
We then see the couple from the night before reading a comic book that they stole in the back of a car. The roof of their car gets ripped off and they start screaming and they get pulled out from above, which I thought was a pretty good follow up to the fact that, what was going on the night before. They still got it,
Yeah.
We then find Sam and Grandpa the next morning in Grandpa's car, and we learn that Grandpa has no interest in going into town whatsoever. He's like, "All right, let's go," and then he's like, "Yeah, that's about as close as I like to get to town." And then Sam's like, "Oh," because I'm assuming what Sam wanted to do was get taken to the comic store. So.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that he just wanted to go in and ride in the car, and the grandpa was like, I don't want to drive this car anywhere. You know, like some people are really protective of their cars, they just want them for show.
Yeah.
And then never drive them. I took that from this thing. But I guess you can take that he doesn't want to go to town.
It was just a really quick to show that he just don't go there.
Yeah.
Sam is once again in the comic store, and the two the two boys come up and talk about how Santa Carla is crawling with vampires. They attempt to give him a comic book about vampires again and tell him to call them if he ever gets into trouble. In fact, they say, "Pray you never have to call us."
Like, I'll pray that I never have to call you.
I'll pray that I never have to call you.
Yeah.
He's all sarcastic about it because he's like, freaks.
Yeah.
Michael is taking full advantage of all the Boardwalk has to offer, purchasing a new jacket and thinking about getting his ear pierced and everything like that. And then Star comes up and she's like, "It's a ripoff. I'll do it for you for free." They talk and they have some banter, and she goes to go with him to get something to eat because he's like, "Do you want to go get something to eat?" And she's kind of like, "Yeah," but then the gang shows up again from the night before, and they're like, "Come on, Star, let's go." You know
What? That's okay. Not to get ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah.
But later on, when Star tells Michael that he was supposed to be her first kill,
Yeah.
it's kind of, you could think about this scene in a sense of like, maybe David realized that Michael had potential, and that's why he called her off of it. Because maybe he was going to go with her, or she was going to go with him to get dinner, and he was going to be the dinner.
I'm going to tell you this. I actually read more into it. We're gonna jump ahead here. It's okay. Sam later in the story, when they decide that they're going to go after Max, thinking that he might be the head, makes a statement that everything started when his mom got the job with Max. So that's why he thinks Max is potentially the head vampire. So maybe Max told David to change it up. Initially, he was going to be the first, and then David stopped him to join.
Yes. That makes more sense.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes more sense because he wanted the perfect family and everything.
Because he wanted, okay. So like it got deep. It got levels on that. Got some onions. And I was watching and I was like, oh. So that's why, because I was like, why would he be her first kill if they were just going to have him join? That's stupid. That's stupid. She's not going to kill him. And then I was like, wait a minute. He was going to be that. And then she stops. David stops him to say,
yeah.
Yep.
So maybe that's why he pulled up on them and was like, no, come with me, Star.
Because then he challenges them to keep up. He says, you don't have to beat me. You just have to keep up for a ride. And Michael accepts. He's able to keep up with them while they ride in like montage style through a bunch of sand and overpasses and woods and stuff like that.
That was horrible. Could you imagine being behind? I would want to be in the front because if you're behind anyone on that, you're getting sand in the eyes.
Yeah, there's
like straight up sand in the eyes.
And it's great song playing during that as well, by the way.
Same song plays throughout the entire movie.
No, it's a different song.
Oh.
This is Sand Into the Night.
Oh, yeah. That's fair. Well, every other song's Cry Little Sister. So.
I know you said it was like one long video.
It did seem like that. It really, I was telling you earlier that it really seemed like this whole movie was a music video.
Yeah.
It was extremely weird because they kept playing the song. So it was like, and kind of like different parts of the song too.
Yes.
So
and different versions and different stuff like that. We then see they're approaching the bluff, and the leader and Michael get into a bit of a game of chicken to see how close they can get to the edge. And then like Michael ditches, and David comes back around, and Michael gets pissed and like punches David, the leader, right in the face for pushing him almost to his death. And he's like, how far are you willing to go? You know, because his Star at first is like, no, don't do that. And then,
which was also weird to me.
And the relationship is
because she weirdly favored him, but at the same time was going to kill him.
Right.
And then was all like, no, don't kill him.
Yeah. So they go down into a broken down building that used to be a resort that fell off into the cliff during a earthquake of like 1908 or something, like 1960, something like that.
I like the little base. It had personality as well.
Yeah,
it was
I like it. It had a giant poster of Jim Morrison from The Doors on it. It was really cool. So just so you know, we're introduced to the members of the gang, and David welcomes Michael in. During this, Sam is getting into bed reading the vampire book. and his grandpa gives him a stuffed beaver, which freaks him out, and he puts it in the closet.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great because first off, I love that the mom's like the closet monster, and the dad's all behind her, like freaks him out and stuff like that. And then he's like, "Here, I got a gift for you," and it's that freaking stuffed beaver. I'd be like, I'd play with it.
I liked it. Yeah, I would have played with.
But
we're a bunch of weirdos.
we are weirdos.
I would have been like, doo, doo, doo. You know, like in Beetlejuice when it goes across the mirror with the horse.
The mirror.
That's what I would have been with
But the beaver.
the beaver.
I like it.
You know what the name would be?
Jimothy?
No,
Oh.
probably Ryan.
Ryan the beaver?
Yeah,
That's weird.
it fits.
All right. So yeah.
That's it on the wood.
But he clearly has no time for it because its faces are.
Yeah, it
He,
is.
Puts it in the closet.
Yeah, he puts it in the closet.
So back at the sunken hotel place, they are eating Chinese takeout, and as Michael eats it, David basically glamours him to see maggots and worms instead of rice and noodles.
So my notes on this so I was watching this and I'm typing as I watch it.
Yeah.
And I goes, oh, they're eating people food. And I was like, oh no, it's maggots. And I was like, no, psych, it's rice. And then it was like on the floor. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he gives him his noodles.
Yeah.
You want some noodles? And then there were worms. And there were noodles again. It's like,
Yep.
man, you guys are ruining Chinese food for me. Big time.
Nice,
Gross.
right? I like all of this, and I don't want worms.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like I said, that's I take it as that was like a glamour power.
Yes.
To make him see something.
It's
And
weird that wasn't brought back up in the movie, though.
Well, I mean, it was the only time it was really needed.
Well, I mean, they could have used it during the fight scene to make him see other things, like
Yeah.
see them, and then
Yeah, but it's not needed at that point in
I guess
time.
it's not layered
You know,
enough.
that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So Star is saying to stop, but of course they keep messing with him. So she kind of fades to the background. They then bring in a big bottle. David drinks from it, and he offers it to Michael, who says, you know, they say, drink it and be one of us. So Star warns him that it's blood. And of course now he's like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Seeing how the worms and the maggots were fake and everything like that, he's just figuring, I'm not buying this bull crap anymore.
Yeah.
And so he drinks because he figures it's wine.
Yeah. At first, I thought the bottle, like, obviously it was blood.
Yeah.
Obviously. But the bottle was, like, really decked out in, like 1700s.
Yeah, it's
type
like emeralds
decor.
and gems and all
So
kinds
it
of
was
stuff.
it seemed like it was, like, you know how people have, like, the gaunt, or, like, the,
Goblets?
no, yeah, goblet? Yes. And
Yeah.
it's, like, it, like, always refills.
Yeah, okay.
So I thought that maybe that's kind of what this was. So it wasn't necessarily like people juice. It was, like an actual turn you to a vampire type juice.
I got you.
So
It was blood.
It was just blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just anybody's blood. So but it seemed. I think that would have been cool.
Yeah, I got you.
Like it was, you can't break it or anything. You just always refill.
So it was like a little.
But he breaks it later on in the movie.
Yeah.
So
they're all dancing around, partying, saying he's now one of them. While Michael continues to drink from the bottle. Star looks concerned, but like I said, she's backed off into the background at this point in time.
And you know what? That goes more into what I'm saying about the people juice thing. Because if you were drinking that and it tasted like iron, would you keep drinking it? So that's why I'm like, well, what if it's actually just something else, like a venom? Like,
Yeah.
vampire blood. You drink the vampire blood.
Later
become
on,
a
David
vampire.
talks about having his blood in him, so my blood runs through your veins.
That's what I think
so-
it is. I don't think it's just like you or I blood. It's like their blood.
Okay. No, I get what you're saying. So that's why it would taste different.
Yeah.
Sure. So then they ride their bikes up to the train tracks that goes over the bluff. Marco, Paul, David, and Dwayne, that's their names,
Wow.
all jump down and are hanging by the beams. Michael goes down to join them, and a train comes over.
I'm telling you what. If first of all, I would have died immediately, because if I'm trying to go down on that, I don't have the upper body strength to hold myself there that long. I'm just falling.
I'm right there with you.
we're gonna get to the
"Man."
point where I'm like almost about to like just be two-handed,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna go to take my feet down, and I'm just gonna fall. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
And then the train's gonna go by, and no one's gonna hear me scream.
Right.
But also, if the train's going by, it would have been so loud. I would have had to have
Yes.
covered my ears, so I would have fallen then too.
You'd have been up there with like on your elbows under your armpits and everything like that with your hands over your
Yeah.
arm. I can't stand the noise.
Michael. What?
What?
What are you saying? I can't hear you.
So David yells to hold on, but one by one, the gang members start to fall into the fog below.
Dropping like flies.
David says to let go as Michael is one of them and then lets go himself. Michael's like freaking. He's like, David! So Michael attempts to hold on, as the train is passed and everything like that, but he's losing strength.
And then
and you can hear the guys
calling,
yelling for his name and everything like that.
I think that would have made me more comfortable with letting go. So I would be like, maybe I landed around water. Drop.
Right. Maybe there's like a little cliff down there that I can't see or something. So, yep. He then lets go and falls for what seems like forever.
Yes.
And he then falls into bed, not remembering how he got home.
And apparently, it seems like weeks have passed. Like, he's doing this, like, he's going out all the time type deal. Because Sam kind of makes it sound like he's never home at night. And he's always going out.
It was really weird. I don't think that there's a huge time passing. But
I didn't mean weeks. I meant like a couple days.
Yeah. I mean, it's clear that he's not been home.
Yes.
So,
because even the mom said something about it. She was like, "You're not home at night anymore. You're always staying out late. This isn't gonna pass when school starts."
Yep.
So
Sam comes in and tells Michael that their mom is on the phone, and he asks for his sunglasses as the sun is too bright inside. Yeah. It's Lucy calling to ask Michael to babysit Sam, as Max has asked her out to dinner and she really wants to go.
This is funny to me because, as a younger sibling, my Justin would get called and he would be like, "Okay, we're gonna be out late. You need to watch your sisters," and we would be like, "Wow, we don't need a babysitter. We're old enough for that. We can watch ourselves."
Yeah.
I mean, where are we gonna go anyways? So, but it was so when Michael said something about babysitting, Sam at the same time, because Michael says Sam doesn't need a babysitter, and then Sam goes, "Oh, I don't need a babysitter. I don't need that. I'm too old."
Yeah.
So that kind of makes me think of that. So it was kind of.
I got you. Getting nostalgia back on that. So Michael does agree reluctantly. The grandpa is going out to show some of his handiwork to the widow Johnson.
Yeah.
So Sam and Michael...
Emphasis on the handiwork.
Yeah. Sam and Michael are talking when motorcycles start to rev up and tear up around the house.
Things are going really
it's
crazy.
Going, run, 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 and they hear laughing and everything like that. Michael goes out to confront them, but there's nothing there.
Nothing there.
Sam asks Mike what is going on. Michael tells him, "Just go take your bath." Which I'm like, a bath? What? I didn't take no baths at that age, but I sure would. I wish I could have a bath. I just take showers.
You saying at this age you want a bath?
Yeah, I would take a bath today. I have to go to a hotel to take a bath, I guess.
You saying you're not gonna fit in the tub?
I'll fit, but there won't be much water.
See, I say that, and you yell at me, "You don't need the water up to your neck." I want the water up to my neck.
I want to be in a swimming pool.
Well, you can't put bath bombs in swimming pools.
Anyway. So Michael...
What color bath bomb would you get?
Purple.
Purple?
Yeah. Michael goes to drink some milk, but starts to freak out with pain.
And he drops the milk. What a waste of milk.
Yeah, it was a waste.
And he had the whole top. Sip, yeah.
The top was
carton
open,
milk.
Shenanigans.
I hate carton milk. It always tastes like
old.
Carton.
He's staggering around, and then he starts up the stairs, seemingly looking to go to attack Sam.
And see, this is what I want to go to with when he falls into bed. It seems like time has passed.
Yeah,
wouldn't he been like this later, or maybe the thirst of being a vampire is just now hitting him? Well,
even Star later on talks about in their conversation that they have how it's becoming harder and harder and harder to resist. She's been resisting it, but. That's why Laddie kind of turns like he does, and she's having a hard time resisting turning and everything like that. But you never see her turn. She never turned in the movie.
No. So. Good for her. Good for Star.
Good for Star. So Nanook the dog senses him and goes on the attack. Nanook attacks and bites Michael, shoving him back out the door, which I thought was great.
Sam taking the bath, first of all. I mean, he was going insane. Yeah, he was feeling it. That's how I want to be in the bath.
I got a daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, singing the song.
And then, oh man, I thought he was going to kill the dog. When the dog leaped at him.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Nanook was done.
Please don't kill the dog. Please.
Nice.
Dog was fine.
Yeah, it was good. So after his bath, Sam looks for Mike and finds him bitten and sitting in the dark, all weird.
I like how he doesn't care that his brother's bleeding out. But he's like, what did you do to my dog?
He cared
Where's
about
my-
his
yeah.
dog because he knows there's no reason, unless you did something to that dog, there's no reason the Nook would have attacked you like that.
Yeah.
So you must have done something. So,
But
I do
mean,
like
I would have
that.
been really concerned about my brother bleeding out of his hand like that, though.
It was a nasty bite.
It was.
Yeah. So Sam sees that Michael's reflection in the mirror is fading and starts to freak out, calling him a vampire. He gets pretty colorful with
Yeah.
how he calls him a vampire.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting because you do look at the reflection, and he does have a faded reflection.
Yep.
And my first thought was like, oh, is this just like a weird off vampire movie where they don't have the reflection completely gone, or like, and then I realized, oh, he's not a full-fledged
Right.
vampire.
It's because he's
hybrid.
changing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So Sam locks himself in his room and calls the Frog Brothers, Edgar and Alan, at the comic store. They suggest he stakes him. He's like, stake him.
yeah.
And they're like, no. And they're like, well, we'll do it for you. And he's like, no. So Michael starts to float and ends up floating out the
Which
window.
this scene was so weird to me. Like, why was this happening?
Yeah, it's just because he's becoming more and more of a vampire. So I guess as they come along, you
I
just
understood
can't
him
control
like
them.
sleeping on the roof and everything, but then he was like getting sucked out the window.
Yeah. Yep. He grabs the telephone to hold on to. And Lucy calls home to check on Sam and can hear Michael screaming in the background.
Yeah.
Um,
And then Michael picks up the phone and screaming on the phone. He's
Yeah.
like, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him, Mom.
yep. Sam sees Michael floating outside and freaks out, causing Lucy to run off and go home in the middle
No.
of her date.
As a parent, if we called you like this and we were like, Tabby's a vampire, are you coming home?
Oh, I would come home. She better be a vampire. If she ain't,
And the house is all wrecked out, too.
I would be pissed. Pissed beyond pissed. So,
And the milk's on the floor.
and if this ain't to boot, the milk is on the floor.
Yeah.
So Michael is begging Sam to help him by letting him in the window. Sam does, because he's like, look, I'm your brother, man. Sam does and Michael is able to like make it in and ground himself again,
Yeah. This was funny
which
because
was nice.
Because Michael's all like, okay, you can't tell Mom, you can't tell her. And Sam was like, I don't know, Mike. It's not like you got a D in school.
Right.
That was so funny to me. Because I remember, like, stuff like that is so funny because it's like, I don't tell Mom, but I got a D on my report card.
Yeah. It's like, this isn't just a D, you're a vampire.
Yeah.
Sam lies and tells his mom that he got carried away with a scary comic book, and she gets mad about the situation and the mess. Like she's done, and the milk carton is like the end.
You know,
thing.
the mom's the real MVP of this whole movie because she deals with a lot.
She does.
I mean,
She does. We also see that Laddie, the boy that is hanging with Star and the gang, is listed as the missing kid on the milk carton.
on the side of the milk.
Yeah,
Yep.
back in the day, they used to put missing kids on milk cartons.
I think
That was a
I think
joke
they
for a
still
long time.
did that when I was like really young, though.
They may still, but they'd be like, man, you're going to end up on a milk carton.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
now
think
milk's in jugs.
I
no
really think
kids.
that when I was younger, like I'm talking like real like 5 or 6, that we were still going to the store and they would still have the kid's face on the thing, but they didn't do that after. They don't do that anymore.
I don't think they do it anymore.
No.
I'll check the milk tomorrow. If I go to the store, I'll look and see. But I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they put it on anywhere. I guess they just don't care anymore. There's just too many missing kids, maybe.
You know, yeah, honestly, I can't recall the last time I've seen a missing kid poster either.
Yeah. Huh. That's dark.
I mean, we get Amber Alerts.
So, right.
That's
So,
really, well,
Sam has to sleep with his mom while Michael sneaks out with his bike.
she's like, "Did you eat pizza for dinner?" Because he's got the garlic on. He's
Yeah.
got the garlic on.
Yeah. He's like, wow.
He, like,
that's
unbuckled, he's
garlic.
like,
And he's like, oh.
Cover up, yeah.
We cut to Max returning home looking nervous, and he gets greeted by his dog Thorn, and then hit with a kite in the shape of a bat, and then the same motorcycle noise and everything like that bothered Michael and Sam also bother him.
Yeah, seeing this, I like this because the Riff Raff boys went to his store and he was like, "I thought I told you not to come here anymore."
Right.
So you get the notions of okay, they're not on good terms, and then this happens. So I was like, "Oh, he's gonna get eaten."
Right, because we've seen 3 times now
Right.
where 3 scenes where people that have disrespected or whatever with him
Have died,
have died.
but he doesn't die.
No, but from seeing it for the first time, did you feel that that's
I
where
thought
it was?
that's yeah.
So
he's
see,
gonna
that's what I'm
die.
saying. Yeah,
But
so
they didn't show him dead. So then
Right.
when the mom sees the dog in the next scene,
Yep.
it was like,
it's not quite the next scene, but yeah.
well, I mean, And sort of in the next scene.
Okay.
Well, the next scene.
Go ahead.
Okay. Then the dog's attacking the mom. That was really weird to me. Because I was like, why is the dog attacking the mom?
We'll get into it.
I'm still confused.
So Michael returns to the sunken hotel and finds Star. He asks what is happening to him, but she says she can't help him, so they decide to hook up. So I guess win-win for Michael.
That's fair. That's why
What's happening? What's happening to me, Star? Hook up.
I didn't have any notes on this because I didn't even know what to say about him. I was like,
So-
okay, that's just
So
this is where I was expecting the nudity
right.
because it's always naked women,
Yeah, no.
and I was like,
not Jamie
okay,
Gertz.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
And nothing. I was a little disappointed.
Quick about Jamie Gertz. You know the movie Twister. You've seen the movie Twister with the
Yes,
the tornadoes.
y'all
and
always
everything?
hype that movie up. It's not that great.
You know
we watch that every
his
year.
fiance in the movie, the one that's with him on the train.
Yes.
She's like talking on the phone. That's her. Yeah, same woman.
Well, she didn't impress me in that movie either.
Well, what are you gonna do?
They weren't even together for most of the time.
So-
they were together right at the end, right when they were going to die. Whatever. I don't like that movie.
So the gang returns at
No,
dawn.
angry because you brought up Twister. It's terrible.
We find that Michael's hand is completely healed from the dog bite. Michael returns home and has a conversation with his mom, but it gets cut brief, basically saying she wouldn't understand. Which, honestly, I don't
Teenager
think she
things.
really would understand.
No.
But
also, it was just that she was really trying to reach out to him, and she was all like,
right.
"We're friends,
We're
right?
friends, right?
Talk to me like we're friends."
Yeah,
And he's like, "You're not gonna understand. I'm a vampire, but I can't tell you."
right. So Lucy and Sam go to Max's house to apologize for her running out on the date, and Thorn the dog attacks her. So Sam goes to the Frog Brothers to advise.
I'm sorry. I just got into my head. And we, imagine that was us, and you're like, talk to me. And I was like, I can't tell you. And you were like, go ahead. And I was like, okay, fine. You know those books where the animorph books?
Oh,
What if I morphed into the beaver?
The damn beaver.
I became a beaver. Could you imagine?
What a crap
I
animal to
just
come into.
I'm like, okay, I'll tell you. The truth is, wah, 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 wah.
And being
Just
a beaver?
I shrink and I'm in my clothes, and you're just like, oh, where did you go? And then the clothes start moving, and I come out the shirt, and I'm just beaver.
Boy, how'd the part?
Would you accept me still?
I mean, I guess I would still accept you, but I'm not going to be happy about it.
Would you think you would have beaver powers?
I would try to morph and probably.
You
just
would
not
try to
do
morph.
that.
You would. You'd
Just
be in the
not-
kitchen like, okay, beaver time. Think beaver thoughts.
Right, and I'd turn into
And I'd crawl into the kitchen like.
I would just turn into like a hot dog or something.
I start slapping my tail on the ground to let you know I'm there.
I don't
Give me
want-
some wood. I'm hungry.
I just throw you out back.
Did you know beavers eat the wood?
I didn't know they ate it.
I think they eat it.
I don't think they eat it.
I do think they eat
You're
it.
trying to get me.
I don't think I am.
Yeah.
Do beavers
Yeah, I think they
eat
just
wood?
make dams with it.
They will eat fresh leaves, twigs, stems, and bark.
Okay. Well, there you go, everybody.
Beavers are not cute animals.
No.
Anyways, so you go into the kitchen at 3 a.m. You see this. Give me some wood.
You're in there just
Slapping my
gnawing
tail.
on the, just keep eating the cabinets and stuff.
I'm
Like,
crawl
come
into the
on,
bed at night.
Get out of here with that.
Start chewing on your toes.
No.
Animorph. Sorry.
So anyway, so Sam goes to the Frog Brothers to advise of the situation. He thinks Thorn is a hound of hell. Basically, what that means is why Thorn attacked her is because it's during the day.
Oh.
And we don't realize that Max is who Max is in the story at the time. But because she was coming there during the day, the dog was protecting. So you get why he did what he did now?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. He also advises that if they kill the head vampire, all of the vampires go back to being normal. So Sam goes on to think that Max is the head vampire, so the Frog Brothers agree to help Sam find out if he is or not, so that they can kill him, because they want to get the notoriety of killing the head vampire and saving Santa Carla. So, oh my god.
I'm so
You are so off task.
I had to look up the Animorph beaver if they had one. They do.
Of course they did.
And it's so ugly.
Okay, post a picture of it in the group. I'd be so sad if that's what I got. I'd want to be something else.
But it's not what you get, it's what your kid's turning into.
They're gonna make a movie about that, I
Father.
believe.
Are they really?
I think so.
Can we go watch it?
No, because I don't want to see the beaver kid. All right.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're fine. So Michael is heading out because Lucy has invited Max over for dinner and runs into Max. Max says that as the man of the house, Michael has to invite him in or else he can't come in. And Michael's like, yeah, that's fine.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I just keep thinking of... Oh my god, I'm crying.
Stupid beaver.
Stupid beaver. Because I'm thinking I'm coming at you. And I'm like, Dad. Turn into a beaver.
Man, if I had to watch you turn into a beaver, that'd be horrible.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep laughing.
No, it's fine. Everybody knows how you are now, so.
It's so funny.
All right. So, are you done? Can I continue? You giggle monster over here.
Try not to laugh.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So Michael invites him in, which obviously is a mistake. Grandpa also sees Max and ducks into his taxidermy room so that way, like, Max not seen.
The one with the beavers.
Yes, the one with the beavers.
I'm sorry. Okay. Go on.
So Lucy and Max prepare to eat, and Sam interrupts, saying that he has dinner guests as well. So Sam and the Frog Brothers put him through tests such as garlic, holy water, and a reflection test, but nothing works. As from what we can tell, he's just human. So they figure they got it wrong. They say Max must not be the head of the vampires. So because he's thrown water on his pants and everything else like that, Max decides to head out and try dinner one more time, but at his house with Lucy. And Lucy agrees. So Michael finds David and gang on the boardwalk looking for Star. David tells Michael that he has to go with them if he ever wants to see Star again. So they ride their bikes to a bonfire where there's just people. They're called Nazis or surf Nazis, and they're having a party like a bonfire. So David and crew or squad, I wouldn't say squad.
The Riff Raff gang.
Yeah, phase into full-on vampire.
You said squad again like in the last episode.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So stupid.
Yeah. Full-on vampire and attack and eat the surf Nazis. And I think this is where the rated R part comes from.
Yeah, these were gruesome deaths.
Like, they're biting into the head and ripping the scalp off.
Yeah, it was
blood
not
squirting
good.
everywhere. They're ripping off their arms and everything. It was gruesome.
It definitely was.
Michael does almost lose control, but he's able to fight it off and kind of like jumps out of the tree to roll down the hill because he's like, no. David comes to Michael and tells him that he now knows what they are and he knows what he is. He tells him he's never going to grow old, he's never going to die, but he has to feed. So that's like a dun 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 moment of the movie. You know, basically Michael's realizing, oh gosh, I am a vampire.
Yes.
We cut to Sam, who has been given another stuffed animal. I think it's an eagle this time, or an owl. And while putting it into the closet, Michael shows up and asks Sam for help. So I don't know if he came in through the window or if he just showed up, but he's there. Star shows up and flies up through the window as well. And they have a conversation about how until he makes his first kill, he's not a full vampire. So that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Star says that Michael was supposed to be her first kill, but she couldn't do it. So I'm still torn on it on whether or not David stopped her. I think it makes more sense that she was going to do it and David stopped her because Max told David, stop it.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot more sense. They talk a bit more, and then Star flies out the window. She's like, because he's like, "Why are you saying you couldn't do it because you love me?" Or blah blah blah.
Yeah,
like,
they seem to kind of be fighting with her.
He gives her a ration of crap, and I'm kind of like, you guys didn't separate on bad terms last time. I don't quite sure, but he's kind of like, you knew what they were doing, and you didn't try and stop them, and blah blah blah. Well, what the heck is she gonna do? If she outs them, then they're just gonna eat you anyway. So you might as well
kill her and eat him. Yeah,
right. So Sam calls the Frog Brothers for help, and they go to the sunken hotel to kill the vampires.
Yeah. So at this point, we're kind of reaching the climax of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, the big fight's about to go down.
Well, not quite yet. Not quite yet.
Well, but this seems like it's gonna be the big fight.
Yeah.
So it's the pre-big fight, but it's telling us, the viewer, oh, this is where it's happening. It's going down finally.
Yeah.
So
It's during the day, so the vampires are sleeping, and they find Star is sleeping as well, and Michael takes her and Laddie out to the car. They feel a draft, the Frog Brothers do, and find a cave which the vampires sleeping in it, hanging upside down by their toes, which they look pretty
was
creepy.
disgusting.
Their feet looked real
Gross.
sick.
Yeah.
They take a stake out and stake Marco, who is the guy who plays Bill in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and he spews goopy blood all over them. Like it's thick and gross, man. It's
Yeah.
all in their face and their mouth and everything. They start to run and climb up a tunnel, but Sam gets grabbed by David, who tries to drag him back. And the Frog Brothers grab him and drag him into the sun, causing David's hand to catch on fire, which I thought was pretty cool. That he just like immediately started to burn. So he's pissed. Like he's done. The Frog Brothers and Sam make it to the car and escape with Michael, Laddie, and Star. And they make it back to their house. I glazed over them, but like when they're taking the car, and they're like, "Hey, Grandpa, we're gonna borrow the car."
Yeah.
Like that part is funny. And then when Edgar's like, "Floor it," and he like jams on his foot, and they almost go off the back of the cliff. And like, he's like, "This does not mean go crazy." You know, he's like giving like little things like that throughout this whole movie. Really make it
and the Frog Brothers,
comedy.
right before they go in, they're like, "We don't ride with vampires," and like, then you can just stay here. And then I think Edgar was like, "We do now.
We do now.
Get in the car."
Yeah, they have morals until their lives are at stake, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay."
they're always like big bad buff people, and they're like, "Oh, we can do this," and then as soon as things get kind of like sketchy or hairy, they're like, "Oh, scared boys."
Yep.
So
Sam tries to tell Lucy about vampires and how they're going to attack him, but she has no time for him at this point in time. She's over Sam and Michael and their BS. So once again, the kids are on their own against the bad guys, which is, you know, I've told you prior in movies like with Monster Squad last week, where it was just going to be the kids taking it on and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's that same kind of feeling. I enjoy that. Like, there's no parents to help. There's nobody else to help. It's just the kids.
yeah, the tries to tell mom but doesn't believe them cliche.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They also get so the Frog Brothers are like, "That's how we like it," you know, because they're excited about it being on this. So then we get a sweet 80s montage-esque scene of them prepping for the battle. And they also get Grandpa out of the house by saying that he has a date with the Widow Johnson.
Yeah.
So, as you were saying, we are nearing the end. You know, we're definitely gearing up for the final battle. Where are you at with it at this point in time? Have you glazed out at all? Have you gone into 5-minute laughing
Listen
fits?
here, okay. I'm sorry about that. You're gonna make me think about the beaver thing again. I'm gonna start laughing again. I like the movie so far. The thing about this movie is that it's not necessarily for me like a favorite. I view this movie the same way I kind of viewed the Monster Squad. I mean, it wasn't anything fantastic, but it had its charm.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm still intrigued, like I was with the Monster Squad. I'm still watching and paying attention, and having a good time with it. It just wasn't like super wowing for me.
Okay.
Because I mean, you can pick the flaws out of this movie. I mean, but there's no really good need to.
The flaws.
I mean, the story goes along; it flows pretty well.
Yes.
So things are moving. However, you can say that the way the story is set up in general is kind of weird, like just how things progress in a sense. I mean, I don't get. I mean, it's a good movie.
All right, I don't know
leave
what
it
you're.
at that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And that's fine. I mean, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It just didn't wow me.
Okay.
In a sense.
So it's dusk, and the vampires wake and leave their lair to come and attack. Max and Lucy are having dinner, and Lucy is she's on edge, man. She's nervous about the kid. She's upset about the kid. She's everything about it. And I think, you know, she kind of tells Max exactly what's going on, but they don't really show that on screen. So the Frog Brothers tell how no two vampires die the same, but they always try to take you with them.
So I thought it was weird. So the Frog Brothers seem to get all their information from comic books.
Yeah.
But they seem to know an awful lot about, like, the real thing.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of, like, weird and funny in a sense. Because it was like,
See,
how you talk about how things are always different. Or, like, how they, you know, you have Dracula and then you have this and then, like,
Yeah.
Vampire Diaries. So, in a sense of that, that's kind of what that was for me.
Okay.
Like, that was their way of bringing that into notion of, like, oh, this is like, you know, Dracula, it's like garlic and holy water and stake through the heart type deal. Because that's kind of what they kept saying. And then when they were wrong, they were like, oh, well, in this sense, they were, like, trying to be better for themselves.
Okay. So Sam forgets that Nanook is outside, so he runs outside to get him. He just makes it before the vampire gang shows up.
Yeah.
And I think that that's in the preview. I think that part when they're running back and they're like, they're coming and everything like that. I think that that's in the preview of the movie. I think.
I don't remember.
The first vampire comes down through the fireplace to fight Sam and Michael.
Well, let's talk about how when they're running back to the house, Sam falls first. Because,
he sure
wow,
did, man.
he ate it.
Yeah.
Like, he
I don't
felt
know
ugly.
if that was on purpose or not. Because Michael actually stops, he, like, skids out to catch him and to get him back up. So I don't know if he fell on purpose or if it was part of the, you know, to build the tension of.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Either
Either way,
I mean,
it
it's
worked
good.
well.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So
But yes.
meanwhile, the Frog Brothers run upstairs with Star and Laddie and are thinking of staking them. Like at that point, they're like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and stake them and get them out of the way. And they go to run off, and another vampire attacks them.
Yeah.
They're kind of going back and forth with him, and they use the water in the bathtub to burn his face because he's like, garlic doesn't work. And I was like, oh, well, that's not good. But they're like, yeah, it's holy water. And the Nook comes in and pushes him into the tub, and he melts disgustingly.
It was horrible. It was horrible, yeah.
Causes the pipes all over to burst, and it's like pink goo.
Well, I thought it was like blood. No?
Oh yeah, it's his blood, but
Yeah.
it's like it's
gross.
the color of it is and the consistency of it is just disgusting.
It gave me the vibes from like the that one scene in It with Beverly with the when the blood
it comes up through the
faucet.
sink?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole room goes bloody.
Yeah.
So that would make me think of that. I mean, traumatizing if I was a kid.
A little bit.
So,
Yeah.
but then but this is throughout the entire house.
Yeah, in the kitchen and everywhere. Like you can see it like coming on the door and everything. It's a lot.
Yeah, at this point, there's no helping the house. Poor
Nope.
grandpa is not gonna have any.
Set a match and move along.
You know how mad I'd be if I let my kid back into my house and
the
they wrecked it.
smell would
yeah.
be horrible, in my opinion. So downstairs, the vampire from the fireplace is attacking Sam, and Sam shoots him with holy water in the face and then a bow and arrow. And he stands up and he says, "You missed, sucker." And Sam is like, "Only once, pal," and shoots him again through the heart with an arrow right into the stereo where music starts like blasting and he screams and blows up. Like his hands are blowing off and everything like that. Like
Death by stereo.
Death by stereo. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
It was
like,
epic.
Nice. And I appreciate that they did, they said, look, no two bloodsuckers go out the same way. And
they really
so far,
don't,
they don't. And I liked that.
Yeah.
Sam and Michael run upstairs, and David comes and knocks Michael back down the stairs. So right now you've got Sam and the Frog Brothers upstairs, and they're giving themselves kudos for killing the vampires, which I'm like, Frog Brothers, you didn't do anything but lay on the floor and scream.
Yeah.
The freaking dog saved your butts. But Laddie attacks, and what do they do again?
Scream.
Lay on the floor and scream.
Yeah.
But Star protects him, saying that he's just a kid.
Yeah.
Which, he's just freaked out. Michael and David continue to fight it out downstairs, flying each other, into walls and like fighting and doing all that kind of madness. David tells Michael that he doesn't want to kill him and that it's just too late. He says his blood is in his veins. Michael says so is his, and then impales David on antlers.
So what's interesting to me about this is sometimes I don't know what the one show's called, but the guy who turned the other guy into a vampire, they'll be like, we're best, like, I think of you as my brother, you know, we could be best friends and stuff like this. So they don't ever want to, like, kill the person. So that kind of made me think of this, because they were supposed to be family in the end. So it kind of made me feel like David was trying to, like, take him under his wing and then, you know, make him one of them and take care of him. And he's like, man, I don't want to kill you. We could be so much more than this. So
You're talking this an actually show?
oh well, that was different. I was just saying there's a show that happened.
I got
I'm talking
okay.
about in this scene. Sorry.
Okay.
The show I'm talking about is the one where it's the vampire dude and his friend's a werewolf, and they got the ghost Sally in the house.
Oh, you're talking about Being Human.
Being Human, and the one guy has to kill him, but he doesn't want to because they're so close.
Yes, that was a rough. That was a rough episode.
That was a rough episode.
That's a good show. We have to finish watching the rest of that.
It didn't end good.
Oh.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. But yeah, so that gave me this vibes, and then there's also David. We assume has to be like way older than Michael. He's got to be like one of the first vampire, like head vampire. Like these kids didn't get just turned, you know.
We assume,
right? So you would think that he would be stronger,
right?
As being an old, because that's typically how it goes. The older the vampire, like the originals, were way stronger than.
I don't know. I mean, if you go by old Sparkle Twilight, the newer vampires are the stronger ones because they still have. Well,
they were stronger when they were newborns,
right?
Oh, but he wasn't a full vampire. He was only half vampire, half.
He had vampire tendencies.
Those are just things I wanted to point out during this.
I gotcha. So yeah, but now David is dead.
Yeah.
Star comes to check on Michael, but finds that he hasn't changed back. Turns out that David isn't the head vampire. So they're kind of hiding out. Lucy and Max arrive, and Lucy is freaked out about the mess, which is understandable. Sam and the Frog Brothers are kind of like yelling all kinds of stuff to her, while Max looks around and finds David impaled.
I thought it was funny because Sam talks to her about it the same way when he called her in the first place. He was like, we need to have a talk. We need to have a nice long talk. Yeah. That's the same way he tried to do it. We need to have a nice long discussion about something.
Very
it's
chill.
Be intense.
Okay, so it's going to be some stuff. Max begins to explain that David and his boys misbehaved and that it is all his fault. So then Max reveals that he is the head vampire and that he wants Lucy all along. That's what this has all been about. Basically wanting her family and boys to join his, and then for them, because boys need a mother.
Right. So this goes back into, while this happens, he gets Sam and like locks him. He's like, oh, I'm going to kill him unless you join me. Well, this goes into my theory about the people Jews versus vampire Jews, because he goes to bite her in the neck. Yeah. And so it's not like, oh, take my blood.
Oh, no, he's going to biting her. He's going to old school her.
Yeah. So my theory is they have, you know, like in this movie at least, they have the poison from their fangs, the venom, and I think that David like extracted it in a sense. It's not like cut his arm and then poured it in the bottle, like full on, just like put it into the bottle with his teeth. Okay. In the same way, so you drink that, become the vampire. So instead, he's forcing it into her by biting her. Yeah, and so she's not drinking anything. Okay. So that, I mean, but you can also think about amount. I guess. Versus, because like just biting her, he'd have to stay there for a really long time to equal how much Michael drank out of that bottle. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like you said, Max shifts and says he still wants Lucy, that he hasn't changed his mind about that. He's got Sam, and Lucy is going to him. But Michael attacks Max, and Max just chucks him at first. Right.
Everyone else think about the older vampire thing.
Everyone else attempts as well, kind of, but Max is just beast. I mean, he's got it over everybody. He's holding Lucy's kind of going to him like, oh, Sam, oh, you know, Michael, blah. Like she's hesitant to do it. He's baiting her in with using Sam. Then we hear the horn on Grandpa's Jeep as it crashes through the wall. Michael jumps down and shoves Max onto one of the wooden fence posts that's on the Jeep, and he shoots backwards, exploding in the fireplace, which I thought was just an epic way to go out.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, I mean, like, he blew up.
Yeah.
Everyone is checking on each other. Lucy goes to check on her dad, who reveals that the one thing that he could never stomach about living in Santa Carla is all the damn vampires. And then we fade to black with the door. Well, not the doors. The doors cover playing in the background.
Yeah.
So a pretty sweet way to end the movie, I think. So they didn't really mess around. It just it ends. Doom, 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 people are strange. It's done. Like they just look at Michael and Sam's face is just kind of like dumbstruck. Like you've known they're vampires here the whole time. You didn't bother saying.
Where are you gonna? I mean, my thought was like, what happens after this? You know, we talked about it before with movies when they end.
Yeah.
To think about the after part. Yeah, I mean they are flat broke.
Yeah.
You can think that the grandpa probably doesn't have a lot of money saved up. Even if the grandpa's going to get another house, it's not going to be very big.
Right.
But now you have to somehow parent not just the 2 kids, but Star and
Well, you think? I mean, I would think that they could go back home. Laddie's going to now, he was missing, so you return him to his parents. He's going to be a little weird, but he's not a vampire anymore. And then Star can probably go home to wherever she was.
But that's going to raise questions. Where were you? What were you doing? Who had you? Well, Mom, some vampires took me and they turned me into a vampire, and then we killed the head vampire, and now I'm no longer a vampire.
You're going to live with your
All
aunt.
right, so now you're going to go to the insane asylum.
So it's not going to be a good life for Laddie.
So you could think that maybe it's like they're like the mom would be like, unless it goes in my theory that they're really old.
Well, he was on the milk carton, so
yeah. So not her, like Star, but then again with the tendency, so that makes sense.
She's not been that old. I don't think that David and them have been that old either. I think that they're relative. I mean, maybe a couple years, but I don't think they're old. I think Max has been making vampires, and then he settled on wanting Lucy and her. I don't think that they're that old. So
yeah, I don't know, but I don't think they could go home.
No,
I mean, Star didn't even look like she wanted to go home.
No,
she didn't. I mean,
she wants to stay.
You could also think about the fact that maybe that's not her home, because although he was on the milk carton, they were at the fair still running around.
Yeah, you're right.
So
it must be somewhere else.
That's what makes me think that they are. It's not.
Imagine going back to normal life after that, though.
That's what I'm saying.
You've been doing this, and now you're going to go back and get like a job.
Because she looked
Kroger.
like she was old. I mean, she was an older. She looked like she was 17, 18. So I mean, she's going to go home, walk into her parents' house. Now I know I've been missing for a couple,
however
long. Here I am now. Yeah. Get out of my house.
Nice.
Because for her, I guess it would seem like she ran away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for the kid, I don't know how this would have gone after. Definitely, I mean, they would have to move somewhere else though, because the grandpa doesn't have any money. I just don't see what they're gonna do.
I got you.
And then they're gonna sue the DVD store.
But they'll just assume take it over. Max is dead. Nobody else.
Oh,
knows.
true.
So. So, your overall thoughts on the film and the experience?
So the movie ends. I'm saying, again, I like this movie. It would be something I would watch again.
Yeah.
Like if I would recommend it to a friend.
You would recommend it?
It's just not. It hasn't done it for me yet. We haven't watched a movie that was like, yes, this is the one that I haven't seen before.
Okay.
So I'm still waiting for that one, but. I mean,
I thought with the way that this would end with Max, I thought it would. That was when we talked about it. I said there's going to be a part that's going to kind of be like, oh, okay. I thought Max being the head vampire and shifting like he did.
I thought it was good. I liked that.
Would have shocked you because
it did.
Because oh, okay.
It just wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. How many moves do you give it?
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
3.5 out of 5. Yeah. I go 4. I usually
which is fine because you're
4.
Biased.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, favorite character.
My favorite character is Sam.
Same was funny.
So I mean,
he was pretty good throughout the entire thing.
I liked where he was with his sarcastic at his age. I was close in age to him when this came out. I think not exactly on, but close. So he's a couple years older than me, but we were close in age. So
yeah, would have been friends.
Yeah. I would have hung out with him. I would have appreciated him. And he had a fashion to him. Even coming from Phoenix, like a lot of times his clothing, like when he was like in the store and stuff like that, and they were kind of like making fun of him and everything like that. And he gave no cares about them. He thought not much of them either.
Yeah, wear what you want.
Yeah.
Least favorite character.
Least favorite character would Man,
This is another hard one for me.
yeah, this is a toughie. I don't necessarily have a least favorite character. I guess my least favorite character would be the background Lost Boys.
Yeah, I was gonna say that actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
just
originally I was gonna put down Max, and then I was like, well, no. But then I put down David.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily that they're my least favorite. It's just like they had the least. And I guess this isn't even true because the background Lost Boys didn't have any personality to them. They just weren't good enough.
Yeah, they were just there.
They were just there. So I guess I wouldn't say David because he did have a bigger part in the whole thing. So probably the background Lost Boys.
I think you needed the background Lost Boys, for the ending and for the fact that you can't just call it the Lost Boy, being David, but.
Ooh.
I don't know that they were necessary.
Spin-off story.
Lost Boy.
This is a different universe. David meets Michael. They're not going to become beavers. Don't
okay.
Stop. Shut up. David meets Michael at a young age. They're growing up. Best friends. And then they meet Max, who's like, oh, I can make you guys eternally young. And so David's all like, yeah, let's do it. And then Michael's kind of hesitant. So this is like, that's where that fight comes in. He's like, we could be together. We could do this. And that's how it ends.
Well, that'd be fun.
That would have been a good movie, I think.
Sure.
And they become beavers.
Oh my God. I'm so mad at you. You've ruined this whole episode with the damn beavers.
You made me laugh about it. I just keep picturing it in my head.
Yeah.
And like the thumping on the ground.
What else you got?
All right. Favorite scene?
When Sam discovers that Michael doesn't have a reflection, and he's all, "You're a vampire. You're XYZ's vampire." That right there really makes me laugh and then of course Sam in the bathtub.
I think Sam in the bathtub does it for me. That's my favorite scene.
Yeah, This wasn't Corey Haim's first movie. He had been in Lucas and some other things, stuff like that. But like really a coming out type movie. I think this is what spawned him for being who he was.
Yeah.
With the character that he is. Because then like License to Drive came out and stuff like that. And he's very much like that in his other movies. He's funny. Yeah.
He is in the, I guess, sequel, Lost Boys, The Tribe.
Yeah, he's in it, but it's not like what you think. They take the story and they turn it on its head, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, I don't think I know any of these other movies that he's in.
Yeah.
But he's in a lot, so.
Yeah, as soon as the 80s ended, it kind of, unfortunately, the drugs really wrecked him out.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, he died of I believe a drug overdose. Because they put him into a show called The Two Coreys because Corey Haim and Corey Feldman started being in a whole bunch of movies together.
Pneumonia.
Well, pneumonia, but it was
that's not drug
related.
But he was troubled by drug.
But they both it started giving him a whole bunch of money again. And anytime that you put somebody who's already got problems in front of a camera and give them a whole bunch of money again, they're going to run into problems. So
yeah.
Anyway, what else do you have?
You can go into trivia.
Okay, then I will go into trivia. Yeah. First bit of trivia: the movie was filmed in only 3 weeks.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, only 3 weeks. We noticed this when we watched it, your mother and I. All the blood has glitter in it to give it a shimmering effect, and it was slimier than other fake blood. It was referred to. It was really gooey and slimy, but yeah, it's got glitter. You can tell after they come up after sticking Marco, it's all over their clothes and everything like that, and you can actually see that there's glitter in it. It was
weird.
Really, really weird.
That's interesting.
In Max's video store, you can see a single copy of The Goonies, which Corey Feldman was in. Obviously, he's Mouth in The Goonies. Yeah. Which also, of course, like I said, starred Corey Feldman. Jim Carrey was considered for the role of David.
Wow.
Yeah. He previously portrayed a vampire in the movie called Once Bitten. But yeah, he would have been, he was potentially David. Could you imagine that?
You know what? I think that would have freaked me out.
He's...
Because Jim Carrey plays a lot of weird roles.
Yeah.
I think that would have freaked me out if I had watched this. And like, as a kid, and I watched him doing that, because he would have made it. I mean, he would have been better at it, I think.
Oh, no way.
Are you
Hell
serious?
no.
You don't think so?
No. No way.
Do you not like Jim Carrey?
I like Jim Carrey sometimes. He's somebody
I
that
think
I
he would
have
have
to...
been fine with this.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it would have had the same... I don't think he would have done for vampires in the 80s.
I don't think it would have been the same.
Just because of looks and everything like that.
That's fair.
Ben Stiller also auditioned for being one of the Lost Boys. He was almost one of the Lost Boys. You know who Ben Stiller is?
Maybe.
You want to look it up real fast?
How do you spell his last name?
Benstiller.
See, why do you
Stiller.
say things slower? That's how people do with their phone numbers.
That's Ben Stiller.
Go so fast. Oh, I do know this person.
Yep.
He plays in the Night Museum.
Yes.
I don't like him very much.
Well, he was almost a Lost Boy. A little bit of trivia about the animals. Max's dog, Thorn, is a white German Shepherd, which are rare. And Sam's dog, Nanook, is an Alaskan Malinois, or Malamute, depending on how you want to say it. Initially, the vampires were supposed to be younger in Goonies. Like, Goonies Go Vampire is basically how they were thinking. So it was going to be a young cast. But Joel Schumacher said no dice and wanted it to be older teens. So it would have been the Goonies, like what you were saying is like being younger. That was how they initially wanted it.
Wait,
So
what?
they wanted the cast and Michael and David and all of them, instead of being teenagers and being older teenagers and stuff like that. The initial script had them being like younger than Sam, like Sam's age and younger.
Oh, I would not have liked that.
No, it would have been weird.
It would have been weird. I don't think that would have been better at all.
I don't think it would have been better at all. So, and Joel Schumacher didn't either. He was like, no, that'd be horrible. So yeah, there's that. There's my trivia. What else do you have?
So, as always, I try to look to see if there's a quiz for movies that we do, the Which Character Are You quizzes. There is one. I'll post it in our group. I got Edgar Frog. So, I didn't want to be one of the Frog Brothers, to be honest. They seem kind of like pushovers.
They're weird.
They are weird, but it's fine. I wanted to get Sam.
They seem like the kind of people that are experts on something until it actually comes to doing it, and then they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's kind of like they knew a whole bunch of vampire-y type stuff, but when it came to actually fighting them, they didn't really do anything.
Yeah, but I will be posting that in our Facebook group, the Truffler Shufflers.
Trufflers.
Sorry.
Trufflers.
Shufflers.
You are on point this episode, young lady.
You know what? I'm here. I'm vibing. It's the end of the week. This is all my people juice.
All right.
But that brings me to your part.
Yep. All right. So other than that, we're going to wrap this up tonight. I do want to thank everybody for stopping by and listening to our 12th episode. We do deeply, deeply appreciate it, more than you could imagine. And of course, the best way to say you love us is to give us 5-star reviews on iTunes. Haven't had any in a while, so if anybody's feeling frog brothery froggy, it'd be great to get one. You can email us at the yesteryearpodcast@gmail.com. Twitter is twitter.com/yesteryearpcast. Instagram is instagram.com/yesteryearpodcast. Facebook.com, Yesteryear Podcast. Our Facebook group is the Truffle Shufflers. Our secret question answer is the host name, which is James and Beth. Our website is the yesteryearpodcast.buzzsprout.com. If you'd like to be a Patreon and support us in a different way, you can do patreon.com/the nostalgia group. A shout out, of course, to Greg Revan for our intro and outro music and all of the music for our shows. And I did want to bring up that we do have a sponsorship that just happened today. So I figured I'd put it through Instacart. Instacart is a company that you can, and I want to get a little bit more into it before I really go official with it. you can order your groceries basically online from a local store, and they will deliver them to you. So you don't have to go to the store, especially with what's going on right now in the world
with COVID.
COVID and everything else like that. If you'd rather not, you can just go online, order everything up, and it comes right to your door. I liked it for the fact, and it's not even something that they recommended, but my first thought were invalid and elderly. I think it would be great if you have somebody to support, like even for like a church to do or something like that. What a great way to get food to somebody who can't necessarily get out for themselves.
Yes. Yep.
And that's what I thought. I think like Instacart would be great for. So like if there's somebody that needs some meals or some stuff like that or some canned goods, go online, order it up, have it delivered to their house. That'd be a really good way to do it. So you don't even have to be inconvenienced yourself. You can just do it through there. So we will get a little bit better on that, get a little bit more on them. But I wanted to bring them up since we did get that put through today. So,
which is very cool.
Very, very cool. And yeah, get out there. Maybe do some Instacarting and let us know if you do. Let us know in the group if you do.
Email us your grocery list.
Yeah.
We want to
us
judge
know,
you.
Let us know what you're getting, and we're going to talk about it on the show. Apparently, there's Instacart shoppers who come through where my dad works, and he says that they're fantastic people. They do,
really?
Yeah. He put it on. It's in the group. So I thought that it's very cool, very cool stuff. Good things. So we appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody stopping by, and if that's all you've got, Beth, we'll say love you and good night.
Good night.